A powerful new picture of a white cop, gun at the ready, face to face with a girl near Dallas, illustrates what many already believe about the police. Could this striking image turn the tide in the debate about the role of cops in America? I'm Scott Ott with Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, and this is your members only right angle, made possible by the faithful paying members of BillWhittle.com. Well, men, a year ago, Senior Patrol Officer Patrick Ray, responding to a 911 call in Rowlett, Texas, arrived on the scene to find a baby choking to death. He managed to clear the coin from the 22-month-old child's airway and save the life of little Bexley Norvell. A year later, the overjoyed mother invited the cop to a party with Bexley, a tea party for two. And here's that striking image of the joyful event. Now, Bexley's mom said, "Because of this man," and this is a quote, "because of this man, I got to see my princess turn 2. I didn't miss her first year of preschool with her twin brother. Because of this officer, we had pink toys at Christmas, not just the blue ones. Because of this hero, I get to kiss her and tell her goodnight every night." Now, Stephen Green, you're a photographer. When you look at this picture of a heavily armed cop with a semi-automatic handgun in full view looming over this innocent little girl, what do you see?
You know, I'm reminded of the pictures we saw from Afghanistan, or at least we used to see from Afghanistan, of the American soldier in his body armor, using his body to protect Afghan civilians from Taliban fire. And this is what our best people do. The very best among us. They put on a uniform and they protect people. But I got to tell you, Scott, when we were talking about this on our conference call yesterday, you started telling the story just like you did now, and I was afraid that the story was going to be one of these where the cop saved the baby's life, but had broken a couple of ribs performing the Heimlich maneuver, and now is facing a lawsuit from the mom looking to score an easy buck, from the police department after her daughter's life was saved. And thank goodness this is not that kind of mob. It's really easy to break a kid's rib, or even an adult's ribs, doing a Heimlich maneuver. That I don't know if that was the case here, but if it was, apparently this is the kind of mom that would never sue, that brought this cop back in to her and her daughter's life. And it makes me think of when my youngest was born. I can't remember the name of the term yet, but he was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. And you hear all these horrible stories about doctors being sued for malpractice, or our very own president talking about doctors performing unneeded surgeries just for the money, amputations that aren't needed, and appendectomies that aren't needed just to get the money. My direct experience with doctors was saving my newborn's life. That's what I know. This cop, that's what I know. That's what I see. So yeah, the stories about the shootings and the horribleness, those get the headlines. But let's remember that day in, day out, this tea party, I think, is a lot more commonplace than anything else.
Well, Bill Whittle, you're an expert in the power of images and icons to convey a message straight to the human heart. What does this picture do to the popular narrative about the role of police in America?
Well, not to be contrary or overly sophisticated, not to be a sophist. I don't know if it affects too many people's opinion of police in America, because I think most Americans still have a pretty high opinion of police in America. We always concentrate on the cities. The cities is where the enormous numbers of murders and violent crimes occur. And I think most people out in America, in the middle of the country, and virtually anywhere except for the big cities, have had encounters like this with policemen. Maybe their kids or their brothers or their fathers are policemen. We were certainly raised, I know you guys were, I was certainly raised, I was just told that a policeman's your friend. If you get lost and you see a policeman, go up and talk to him. He's the guy that's gonna get you home. And I've always felt about that way about the police. It was just built into the way I was raised. I find it interesting to find that the people who have the most problems with the police are the people who have the longest rap sheets. It seems like a striking coincidence to me that the people who are calling most about police brutality are the ones who have the most crimes. There's no question that there's some police brutality in this country, but it's not institutionalized police brutality. In World War II, the Nazis would kick down doors. Even before the Nazis took power, the SA, the stormtroopers, would just find people and beat them up. That was the official policy of the government. Just beat them up, intimidate them. here, the policy of the government is we see you doing that, you're fired, and maybe you're going to go to prison. We talked a little bit a while ago about the idea that Andy Taylor, from the Andy Griffith Show, is this kind of ideal of policing. And the reason he's the ideal policeman is because he's a father, and he's a family man, and he's a regular guy, and he's got authority, and he doesn't have to show it. He doesn't have to boss people around, and if he doesn't have to, he usually won't. This anti-police thing, Scotty, is a political move on a large degree to get a black population ginned up to come out and vote for Democrats. That's essentially what Black Lives Matter is. It's a statistical non-existence that is being trumpeted by the president and everybody else in order to win elections. That's the only reason they win elections. And I've often felt when people say, well, we should just abolish the police or keep them out of our neighborhoods, I want to say, hey, great, let's do that. Let's give it a try, see how it works. The problem is there's so many innocent people that live in those neighborhoods that are not these idiot activists that they would pay the price for it as they always do. This man represents everything we like about America, is gentle, good strength, administered by a good man and obviously a very kind man. And when you look at that picture of the policeman and the girl, don't forget that while this is a happy outcome and this is the girl that he saved, there are many pictures like this of policemen and their little daughters. And the policemen go out every night and risk their lives, and sometimes they don't get to come home. So it's not the girl that doesn't come home. A lot of times it's the man in the badge that doesn't come home. And we don't appreciate that. We just think it's another job that they do badly, and we don't understand the fact that there are people who have families that get dressed at night to go to work or in the afternoon, and their job is to stand in front of bullets and to confront people with guns and to break up fights and to, it's astonishing. They deserve a lot of respect. And finally, just in conclusion, I'll say, because they deserve that kind of respect, I think the police have a strong obligation to make sure that the bad cops in their midst are in fact removed.
Hey, Bill, as a small L libertarian, it's my hope that someday we can live in a country where our ideal version of a cop is Don Knotts.
That's our ideal version of a politician, anyway.
Right.
The mom in this story told a TV interviewer that when the news of the shooting, the ambush and slaughter of Dallas police officers started coming across the TV, her daughter asked immediately if Officer Ray was okay. Oh, and at that point, of course, she didn't know. She didn't know who was involved in it. So, well, back in Pennsylvania, we live 2 doors down from Al, a city cop. He's a chiseled character with a shaved head and a level, no-nonsense baritone voice. In his uniform, strapped up and ready to roll, he's a vision of dark blue intimidation. But Al is also the father of 2 little girls, whose passion is Irish dancing, and he travels with them to many performances. Al the cop is also an amateur photographer with a gift for capturing beauty and emotion. His pictures of his girls in their Irish dance costumes, frilly dresses, and dramatically oversized curly wigs are breathtaking. Al loves to cook out and to play lawn games in the summer with family and friends. He replaced the brakes on his own car right there in the driveway, and he'd lend a hand when I struggled with something under the hood of my own jalopy. At Christmas, we stopped by their place for a few hours to tell stories and to laugh and to eat too many homemade cookies with Al and his charming wife, his girls, and his mother-in-law. This picture grabbed my heart because it's a powerful reminder of an enduring truth. No matter what you see in the news, the vast majority of cops are like Senior Patrol Officer Patrick Ray of Rowlett, Texas, always ready to save a life. And the vast majority of Americans love and respect them like my family loves Al. These men and women want little more than to do their duty and then to come home to the hugs and kisses and love of those who really know them. For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the Right Angle team, I'm Scott Ott. Thank you for supporting the Stories of Liberty with your membership dollars at BillWhittle.com.